Ready.
Me too. Hi everybody, welcome to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles tutorial. I'm Feasel, I'm the guy with the screen on the left, and we got joining me today Mythical 9.
I'm the guy with the screen on the right.
There he is. So this is a game that I have played before, I've speedrun before. Mythical has not. He's going to be playing the role of the new person learning the game, and I'll play the role of the expert explaining the game. Even though I'd like to point out that I don't have the record in this game anymore. It's long since been in the hands of Whitman Price, who's the real world record holder, and he's you should definitely watch his video, check out his run. It's got lots of great strats in it. We're going to go through and explain some of the strats that would be in the world record route, and we'll also explain some of the safer strats that you can take if you don't want to learn, you know, the hardest and riskiest things. So we'll try to explain a little bit of both as we go along. So I'm going to go through this level by level. There's only 2 levels in this goal. The goal for the Big 20 race is going to be to beat level 2, which is the swimming section, the dam. So the only thing you have to do is level 1, which consists of 3 side-scrolling sections and some overworld, and then level 2, which is just basically 1 long side-scrolling section and then the swimming part. The whole thing should take you, I don't know, about less than 6 minutes, I would say. 5 to 6 minutes for a good time. You can do it in less than 5 minutes for sure if you really work on it, but I would expect that anyone should be able to do it in under 6. This shouldn't be too hard. You have a lot of turtles to work with. One of the things about this game is that you can switch between the other turtles in your roster at any point in time. You just pause it and switch between them. Each turtle has a separate health gauge, so if Donatello gets beat up a little bit, God forbid, we can switch to one of the other turtles and he's got full health. But in general, you're going to be using Donatello for all the fighting sections, with the exception of the very beginning, because it doesn't really matter too much what turtle you use in this first room here, and you start out as Leonardo. But you'll be switching to Donatello pretty early on, and then sticking with him up until you get up to the swimming section. By the time you get to the swimming section, Donatello's probably going to be pretty worn down by now. People who haven't practiced too much or having a little trouble might have switched to another turtle and maybe started using up some of Leo's health. But the nice thing is that as long as you have at least 2 turtles with full health going into the dam, you should have no problem doing that whole swimming section. Just taking the damage and going right through everything. You shouldn't even need to slow down.
But Feasel, why would I only use Donatello and Leonardo?
Well, let's explain a little bit some of the differences between these turtles, since you asked. So let's look at Leonardo's weapon. When he attacks, you see it's this overhead slash, and it's when you're on crouching down, it'll be this downward jab, and he's also got an upward jab that looks pretty similar. This is a pretty good attack, and in fact it hits the enemies that are behind you a little bit. You'll notice that it extends a little bit over his head when he's swinging, so that hits enemies up top, enemies in front of you, and a little bit of enemies behind you. So that's actually a pretty good attack, but it's not the best. Let's take a look at what a real turtle's attack looks like. This is Donatello, and so he's got a much bigger range than Leonardo does, whether he's attacking up, attacking down, whatever direction. It's pretty good. It also has quite a big hitbox behind him, too. You'll see that it extends probably at least 16 pixels, looks like even more than that, behind the turtle, so you can hit stuff behind you just as easily as in front of you. So this is really a powerful weapon. It's just offset by the fact that it's so slow. It's got the slowest reaction time of all the turtles' attacks, but once you get used to using it, you'll find that this is going to be your weapon of choice, your preferred weapon for pretty much any scenario. Let's take a look at Michelangelo. He's got these nunchucks. They're not as big a range as, definitely not as big a range as Donatello, not as much as Leonardo either, but they're pretty decent, and his up attack and his down attack are okay. The down attack doesn't really hit anything below him, unlike Leo or Don. But this is better than nothing. The only turtle worse than Michelangelo is Raphael. See, this is his attack right here. It's got the smallest range. You're really not going to get much use out of it. Whether you're trying to attack up or down, it's pretty much just going to hit the area in front of him and maybe slightly over his head. So that's not really a very good turtle to use for all intents and purposes. Let me just get the damage values up so you can see it here. but there's different amounts of damage that each of the turtles' weapons does as well. And I'll just put this up on the screen so you can see it. Let me see. Hold on a sec. I gotta make a new window for this. The damage values I'm getting from the TAS Videos site, there's a game resources page for TMNT that explains a lot of stuff. Much of it not really useful for a real-time run, but it is cool to see how things work if you want to, look at memory addresses or anything like that to help you along. Alright, but there you go. This is the damage chart. So you see that there's a column for normal and a column for boost. Normal is the normal amount of damage that you do if you don't have any kind of low health boost. Boost over here, this what happens is when your health gets below half, your weapon actually does more damage. And so you'll see here, Donatello's got the strongest weapon by far. He's got 15, which is like just huge compared to Mike and Leo are 7, Raph is 9. So you definitely see why you use Donatello besides just his attack range. And if you look boost, when he's at less than half health, it only goes up to 16. So he gets the least amount of bonus for having low health. But it's still...
Raphael.
Except for Raphael, you're right, who gets nothing. I forgot about Raphael because I never play him. But,
Understandable.
Yeah, almost the least amount of bonus. You're right. Almost the least. But still easily the most damage from Donatello. Yeah, Mike gets quite a boost, and Leo gets a little bit of a boost. So that's the reasons why we use Donatello. And even though Donatello's damage only goes up by 1 point when you've got half health, it actually, that 1 point makes a big difference, because even though all the hit point values for you and for bosses, they're all represented in terms of boxes and half boxes, that's how it's drawn on the screen, but internally, in memory, there's actually a continuum of values that just get sort of rounded to the nearest integer or half integer for purposes of display, but underneath it there's a much finer grained bit of hit points. So you'll see there are some bosses that take 3 hits with normal Don, but only 2 hits with boosted Don. So that's why people who want to go all out and really do this as fast as you can will actually end up taking a lot of damage at the start with Donatello to get his hit points down to half, and that makes a couple of the fights go by faster, even though it's only a 1 point boost to his damage. It happens to be just enough to end some of these fights 1 hit sooner. Alright, so that's the damage values. And we've gone over the shapes of the different attacks. Another thing, just the basic fundamentals before we get started, is I should talk about jumps. So the jumps are really tricky in this game. It'll take you some time to just kind of get the muscle memory for it. But there's 3 heights of jumps. There's exactly 3 kinds of jumps you can do. There's a tap jump, which is just, tapping the button as lightly as you can, and that's what you get. You can't jump any less than that. Then there's a medium jump, which is, if you see, it brings my turtle's head just above this center platform. That's sort of like a heavier tap. It's not quite a tap, but it's not quite holding down the button. You have to let go of the button before 17 frames or before 18 frames or something like that. And then a full height jump is just holding the button all the way, and you see that the turtle actually flips into this spinning ball, and that's how you know you've gotten the 3rd and highest of the jump heights. But that's it. There's only 3 jump heights at all. So the tap jump you get just by tapping it anywhere between 1 and 9 frames. So anything less than 10 frames is going to get you this small tap jump. If you hold down the A button for 10 to 16 frames, so there's a 7-frame window on what you can on getting this medium jump. Oops, see, I didn't even get it that time. It's hard to get this consistently. But between 10 and 16 frames, holding down the A button will get you this. And anything 17 frames or more will get you this full height jump. So that's the thresholds that you're working with. Getting the medium jump when you want to is probably, it's a hard thing to do. It takes a bit of muscle memory to get used to it. So there's going to be, I try to make most of my strategies, I try to build them around the smallest tap jumps and the full height jumps, and I don't try to rely on medium height jumps unless I absolutely have to. But sometimes you have to. Even in this goal, you're probably going to want to in a few cases. So let's go through a stage at a time, and I'll explain the easier strats, and then I'll explain the more advanced strats, and I'll do that both sort of at the same time as we're doing each of these levels. So I'll go through the level first with the safe strats, and then the advanced strats. So for this, let me put up a video here for you to watch. That is the wrong one, isn't it? There it is. Okay. Alright, so to begin with, you want to kind of move down to the left. Make sure you get out of the way of this steamroller. This steamroller is going to crush you in one hit, so you definitely don't want that to happen to you. So make sure you get far enough to the left that you can avoid him. Cutting across right here, if you take a look, the turtle's feet are really the spot that the collision detection is based on. So you see that my head is pretty much up into the building, and only my feet really need to clear that corner. So if you want to cut that corner as tightly as possible, just sort of look at the turtle's feet and you'll get used to when to cut over. You know, saving a few frames. It doesn't matter too much. It's not going to screw anything up RNG-wise. If you take whatever path you want in the overworld, it doesn't really matter. You'll always have to slash those two guys. Just get used to the timing of, you know, hitting putting your weapon out before the enemies get there, because there's kind of a bit of a delay. But now let's deal with this dungeon down here. I'll go through it once and just show you guys what this whole thing looks like, and then I'll break it down and explain each of the parts. There's not much to it. Just a couple jumps to get through that section, and then immediately we have a boss fight. And I'm going to sort of show you the less damage way of doing that guy, where you jump up there and avoid him hitting you. But let's go back and break this down and look at it in slow motion, and I can explain what we're doing. Oops, let's do it down to... Alright. There we go. So you slash that guy as you come off the ledge. This is a small tap jump to get over that, and another small tap jump to get over those guys. You fall down, have to slash this guy in the ground before you land, and then you immediately jump again with a full height jump, and you'll go between those two guys. And you might think, oh, it's easier just to slash those guys and kill them, but there's a reason why you're going to want to not kill, want to skip killing as many guys as you can at the outset. You want to just kill the minimum number of guys, and I'll explain that in a bit. So I slash this guy coming off the ladder, light jump again. You can do that immediately, you don't have to delay like that. Slash this guy as you're about to land on the ground, and then a full height jump, and it looks like this is a tight jump right here going between these two guys, but it is not. If you just jump the moment you land on the ground and do a full height jump, it should be pretty easy to get between them. There's a pretty broad window. Now let's explain a little bit of what's happening in this boss fight. I'll speed it back up to full speed. So this guy's pattern is kind of random. If he's close to you, he'll stay and punch, but if he's not close to you, he'll continue to run to the side, and then he'll change directions and run back to the left. So really his movements, you're going to get different patterns out of him based on where you stand as you fight him. Sometimes you'll find that he rushes and stays on top of you, sometimes he runs away, so you're going to have to sort of play that by ear. But the strat that I want to show you guys oh yeah, and you want to switch to Donatello for this fight. You could do this with Leonardo, but Donatello does a lot more damage than any of the other turtles do. So if you want to get this guy in the minimum number of swings, you got to do it that way. You got to do it with Donatello. So Mythical, the only difference is you want to walk off that ledge instead of jumping off of it.
Alrighty.
Yeah, light jump there. Just fall off and slash that guy on the way down, and then a full height jump takes you right between those guys. And then right here, anywhere along here, you want to switch turtles. So now let me bring up my screen. Okay. he got away from me. Alright, so a nice easy way to fight this guy. Hit him twice as he's approaching you, and then just hit him a couple more times, and he'll usually run away. Sometimes he'll stick around here in the corner and just keep punching you. If that's the case, you can always just jump up, do, you know, a medium height jump, and just mash down with the bow. You can get a couple extra hits in without taking damage. But you're about to get a slice of pizza that refills 2 boxes of health. So if you can take 2 boxes of damage or less in this fight, any method that takes 2 hits or less is going to be just fine. Because you'll be able to get that health back. And to be honest, you really don't even need even that much health if you have... I mean, there's nothing else that is going to be required damage anywhere else in this run. So I don't think there's anything up till you get to the swimming where you're going to take damage. So it doesn't matter if you take a little bit extra. But what you'll see on like a world record run, or you know, someone doing really advanced strats, is that they'll stay inside him like that and take several hits so that your health is down to less than half. So as I said at the beginning, you do more damage with this bow staff when you have less than half health. And so generally, if you want to be, you know, as fast as you can getting through this game, you want to take a bunch of damage while you're fighting this guy and do the rest of your run with this amount of health so that you'll be doing extra damage. And I'll point out places where it's going to make a difference. But for purposes of doing this in a race, and for people who aren't necessarily going for world record strats or don't want to push themselves all the way, I would recommend trying to just take this safe and don't worry if you don't get that low health damage bonus. I don't think it's necessarily worth it. So approaching this guy, there's a couple things that you can do to get in a few extra hits. One thing about this is you'll notice that your bow has got a very long attack time. Like you press the button and it takes a moment for this animation to happen. And what you can actually do is hit an enemy by like starting this attack animation and then turning around as you when the bow comes to full extension. And so you can actually hit this guy as you're walking away from him by, you know, hit the button and then turn back towards him, then hit the button, then turn back towards him. You can actually get in a couple hits as he's approaching you before you even get up to the wall. And you're going to start about right here when get out of the way. Right when Donatello's head crosses this low-hanging brick. Let me just get this guy out of the way. So right here, you see this brick that's hanging down from the ceiling. Right when his nose gets up even with the edge of this brick, that's when you want to start attacking. And then by the time by the time your bow staff actually takes effect, he will have spawned and you can turn around and hit him. So you should be able to get in 2 hits right off the bat like that. Oops. If you want to. And then I'd recommend coming over here into this corner and just fighting him in the corner. Oh man, I took a bunch of hits that I didn't need to. But basically, most of the time, he will hit you once or twice, and then he'll turn and run away, and you can chase him. And usually he doesn't get very far before you finish him off. And doing it that way, you're pretty much going to take 2 damage every time. Now, if you want to do this as safely as possible, you can just forego all those early hits and just do a jump. So I just come all the way over here to the side, and then I turn around and then jump and just mash down to get him to start doing damage, and then he'll run away and you can finish him off. And that takes one damage, sometimes 0, depending on what he does. If he decides to stop and punch, or if he immediately turns and runs. Anyway, so like I say, as long as you get through there with 2 health or less, taking 2 damage or less, rather, you can refill it all. But anyway, if you watch Whitman Price's run, for instance, or anyone who's doing a world record attempt, they will get themselves down to half health here before moving on. But we're not going to do that for purposes of this tutorial. Alright, that seemed pretty straightforward so far, Mythical?
Absolutely.
Pretty
Very
easy.
simple.
Pretty simple. It's just the first screen. Alright, so that's like a third of this level. We're already getting into it here. So we go up through this door. Oh yeah, wait, let me point out one more thing before we get out of here. This cutscene, well, this little, I don't know if it's a cutscene, but this little like musical flourish that plays. the whole time that victory music is playing, you can be moving. So by the time Rocksteady grabs April and goes through that door, you should already be standing on that door, holding up on the D-pad, ready to go through it the moment you can. And I don't think it matters where you kill Bebop. You're always going to be able to get over there and get up to the door in time to get through without wasting any time. Alright, second sewer. Right here is a pizza. You can do a light tap jump, like a small tap, coming off this ledge right there to get that pizza. It's pretty easy. But if you want to take damage and get yourself down to half health, then obviously you're not going to want to pick that pizza up. So if you're going that route, then you're just going to walk off this ledge instead of jumping to grab that pizza. But either way, the strat for what you do next remains the same. You want to slash that guy as you're about to hit the ground, and then you jump up, and to hit this guy who's on this upper shelf right here, you do a jump and hit him on the way up, and then you have to kind of wiggle in the air for a minute, and then hit him again as you touch the ground. So I'm going to skip that pizza, kill this guy, hit this guy, and then shoot him a second time just as I'm about to land. So you're hitting him once on the way up, and then you land and hit him again. And you don't even have to turn back very far. In fact, just anything at all. Like, you can bump into the ceiling and let go of the D-pad and fall straight down, but anything that keeps you from moving forward and running into him. And you got to remember to slash way ahead of time because the bow moves so slowly. So I'm almost... So to hit this guy, I'm basically pressing the B button like just a moment after I press the A button. Like, I'm hitting A and then B almost at the same time as I make this first jump. And you want to make sure that you're touching the left side, you're touching the edge of this platform, or else your bow's not going to be able to hit that guy.
Arg. Darn this guy.
Yeah, it's tricky. The thing is, if you screw it up, it doesn't really matter too much because it's not going to screw with the RNG too much.
You can't really hit both at the same time. If B comes out before A, then nothing happens.
Right. So I hit A and then B almost immediately afterwards. It's sort of like, I don't know, there's a bunch of jumps in Ninja Gaiden where you're doing that kind of thing. Or any kind of game where you want to attack, or where you want to jump and then attack in order to do it quickly. It's like a quick A then B. Anyways, once you're fed up with that, once you're done with that, you got another formation of enemies that'll spawn when you walk to the edge of this right here. Here, let me just show the way I prefer to go through this on video. It'll be a little easier. Alright, so what I do is I get to the edge of this ledge right here, and then I do a tap jump and then swing my bow just a moment after. Oh wait, no, this is the safe route. Here, let me show the normal version of this. Alright, kill this guy like that. So I do a tap jump and attack those guys, and if there's anybody left, I just slash up. So let's look at this again. Jump and slash those guys, and then I slash upwards to get the last guy if I miss him. But it is possible to get all three of those guys in one slash. If you want. I mean, if you want to work on the timing. Yeah, you just got it, Mythical. Anyway, that's the best way to do it, I think. Just work on... It's really just a matter of when you get to the edge of this ledge, just work on jumping at the last moment, make sure it's just a tap jump. And the rest of this goes by so quickly. Alright. Let's talk about this boss right here. This chainsaw guy, he won't spawn until your turtle touches the wall right here. So you pretty much, this is the trigger point right there for this guy. And this is a spot where it's sort of like a mini boss. There'll be different music, but the enemy that you get is just a normal run-of-the-mill enemy. There are places where chainsaw guys will just appear as normal enemies, but there'll just be certain places in the dungeon where the screen will stop scrolling and you'll hear this boss music. Now, and then this enemy will spawn, and once you kill it, you can move on. It even gets little enemy hit points at the bottom of the screen there. What's annoying about these places is that you'll move into the spot and the screen will lock, and if there are still enemies on the screen left over, if there are still normal enemies on the screen, you'll have to kill all those enemies or wait for them to walk off screen before the mini-boss will spawn. So in places where this is going to happen, you just have to make sure that you kill all those enemies as quick as possible. That's why it was important to kill that formation of 3 guys as we were dropping off that ledge right there. Anyway, so once you do that, you walk to that point and this guy will spawn, and it's just 3 hits with your bow staff. But if you're doing this with Donatello at half health, it'll only take 2 hits. Let me switch over to the safe route, because I think that shows the boss better with... So yeah, it's 1, 2, 3. It takes 3 hits to kill him. But if you were at less than half health, it would only take 2 hits. So that's one of the reasons why people take damage at the outset. Before we move on, I want to show one other way of doing this section right here. So we already showed... let me slow it down a little bit. Coming in and getting this pizza, slash that guy before you hit the ground, that guy as you're jumping up, and then again as you touch the platform. So instead of jumping at the edge of this platform to kill those 3 guys, another option is just to walk off the platform and wait right there for a moment for the enemies to despawn themselves. So let me just look at this one more time. If you're having trouble getting the thing where you jump at the edge of this platform and kill those 3 guys in the air, then just try this. Just walk off, stop right there for a moment, and you see this guy in the upper left corner, wait for him to disappear. This guy up here, all these guys will just walk right off the screen. So just wait for them to despawn, and there may be one guy left that you can kill by jumping up like that. Or that guy might not be there, he might despawn. And then you just do that mini boss fight as you would. It's the same regardless of which route you take up to that point. So, sometimes you might see that instead of a chainsaw guy, there'll be a frog guy. So the mini boss won't be the chainsaw man, it'll be a frog man, and you'll wonder, why did that happen? So, here's the deal with the spawns in this game. There are 2 distinct monster sets for each screen of the game. There's totally different set of monsters. Well, some parts of the game have the same monster set, but for the parts that we're playing, there's going to be 2 different monster sets, and the monster sets will switch over after a certain number of them have spawned. So there's a spawn counter somewhere that increments each time a new enemy spawns, and once that spawn counter passes a certain threshold, the next time there's a place where the monster transition, where the monsters are allowed to change, there are like certain spots within the level. They can't just change anywhere. There's certain spots in the level where the game checks whether it's time to switch monster sets or not, and it does that based on the number of spawns counter. So the reason we didn't kill a bunch of enemies in that first screen, the very first sewer, we could have used Leonardo and hacked up a couple of those extra guys instead of jumping over them and jumping between those guys up in the air. But if we had done that, then by the time we got here, we would have killed enough enemies that we would have switched over monster sets, and you would have fought the frog mini-boss instead. Now that's fine. The frog mini-boss is just as easy to kill as the chainsaw mini-boss, but the enemies that are going to come up in this next screen here are going to be different, and you're actually going to lose time because you're going to get like a firewalker who spawns right near the exit ladder, whereas the enemy that we're about to get, the Mudman enemy that we're going to get by the exit ladder, is one that we can just pass right through. So that's why we don't want to kill anything that we don't have to, just so we don't switch over the monster set too early in this screen right here. Alright, so moving on. You might think that while we're waiting for this, the little fanfare music that plays after you've defeated the mini-boss, that you want to get as far to the left as you can, so that you can be all the way at the very edge of the screen once the screen starts to scroll. But let me just show you what happens if we do that. Yeah, I'm going to do the despawn method. 1, 2, 3, and like I said, that takes 3 hits because I don't have the half health. Oh, I missed the thing that I wanted to show you guys. Here, I'll do the despawn again. Alright, so after I kill this guy, I'm going to run as far to the left as I can. And I can get all the way up to here before the screen starts to move. But you see that I got hit right there. Like right here, there was a guy who spawned right at the edge of that screen and hit me. So that's the problem with getting as far to the left as you can so that you're already against the side of the screen. Once the screen starts scrolling, is you're going to run into that guy. So instead, I recommend standing right here. So I'm a little bit past the pipe, maybe halfway between the edge of the screen and the pipe, maybe a little bit closer to the pipe. And now, once I start to move, I'll have a little bit of buffer space in between me and that enemy. So now I can slash up and kill that enemy, and I've got enough time to do that. Now notice this last guy by the ladder here. See, he spawned after I walked past him. Now he's, now he's an actual entity that I can run into and take damage from. But you'll notice that I was able to pass right through that guy. And the reason for that is because I was close enough to the screen, but not too close. And that actually puts me in just the right spot where I can get past him before he spawns. I'm going to set another save so we can illustrate a couple possibilities. So let's say I'm too far away from the edge of the screen when the screen starts to scroll forward. And I try to get up there. He's already right there. The enemy hits me as I try to get past him. Let's see if this is enough. Nope. See, I wasn't close enough to the edge of the screen, so this guy spawns before I get there. I'm going to get just a little bit closer. I'm there now. And so now, yeah, look, I passed right through that guy, and he hasn't even activated. So you've got to be about maybe 1 tile, 1.5 tiles at most from the edge of the screen in order to be able to pass through that guy. But like I said, you don't want to be all the way up against the edge of the screen because then you're going to bump into that guy right there. Okay, so right here's where you want to stand. And now I'm going to start walking forward, and I'm going to be holding up left, and I'm going to slash my weapon the moment Donatello's face crosses the next pipe. So you see on Mythical Screen there's a formation of 3 pipes that he walked through. On that rightmost pipe, the first pipe that you run into, let's see, wait for it. Oh, I see, frame advancing. But yeah, that first pipe that you run into, you want to slash up the moment his head, right there, right, the moment his head crosses that pipe, slash up. So you can just hold up left the whole time, but the moment you get to that pipe, just slash up, and that's how you kill the... There we go, on repeat. That's how you kill that guy. Anyway, the important part is just stand about right here where I'm at right now. So that gives you enough space that it's easy to hit him, but you're not so far away from the edge that you can't despawn this guy. So there you go. Is the counter by level? No, I think that it carries over between the levels. And I wish I could tell you exactly how many enemies have to spawn. I'm not sure what the number is off the top of my head. But it is based on the number of enemies that spawn. So the more enemies that you kill, the more enemies will spawn, because there can only be a certain number of enemies on the screen at a time. So that's why you just want to make sure you don't kill too many enemies in that very first sewer section. So if you did kill too many enemies, then here, look at this guy right there, that Flame Walker. We have a different enemy set now. Now there's like this birds flying at the top, there's eyeball crawlers, and there's this flame guy who shoots out jumping flame legs. So that flame guy will be right here, and there's no like pass through him trick like what I did with the Mudman. So that's why we can't have this spawn set.
Oh, look at the lag frame counter just going while these
Yep.
guys are all on screen.
Yep, isn't that great? So more reasons why you don't want that spawn set. Fortunately, this next building we're going to go into only has 1 possible spawn set, so you don't have to worry about bad spawns in there. Okay, but yeah, actually, you'll notice if we do this enough times, just keep re-entering. There we go. It switches back because we spawned a bunch of those enemies, and then it switched back to this one. And now it's these guys again, and it'll probably be flame guys. No. Wow, I wonder how many times you have to do this to get the flame guys back. Is it just because I didn't kill any of them, I wonder? Well, whatever. The spawns are really weird. The point is, just don't get Frogman here. And then you'll be sure that you don't get the Firewalker there. Alright, now let's move on to this last building. This is the last part of Stage 1. A couple different ways to do this. World Record Run does something like this. In fact, I think exactly like that. You can do it that way. I find that to be a little bit harder. Yeah, Jagger G. It toggles. It only goes back and forth between 2 spawn sets. I'm not sure how many spawns it takes, or whether you have to actually kill any of them, or if it's just how many of them spawn on the screen. But in general, the more stuff you kill, the more stuff spawns, and the more it advances the counter. Beyond this point, though, you won't have to worry about it. It's really just the beginning of this level that you care about. Alright, so let's see this one more time. The idea is you want to... Oh, say I didn't do it right. On this first jump, you want to get 3 guys. Oh, come on. You want to try to get at least 3 guys. At least those last 3. And then you do an upswing and a downswing to kill the sets of enemies right there. And you basically have to do it like the moment you get out of that door. And then a tap jump. Always a tap jump every step of the way. Well, except for this first jump, you need to do a full height jump to get up there. And then a tap jump to get down on the ground, and then full height to get back up, and then another tap jump to get over this last part. Yeah, and it's pretty tricky, because if you don't kill the right group of enemies, the right certain enemies on that first jump, it's going to throw off everything else, because a different set of flies is going to spawn for the next wave. Another thing to be aware of is this robot here. This robot thing that looks like a... I don't know, the thing that RoboCop fights against. It's going to spawn the moment you kill any of those enemies. And when you land down in this gap, you want to move all the way over to the left to give you the most amount of time before that robot thing shoots you with one of its lasers, and then you do your next jump over, like so. But if you find that you're getting hit like at this stage of the process, it's because you probably need to wait longer down there and move a little bit further to the left so that robot thing doesn't get you. I don't know. Also, this guy, okay, that was a good thing to show, because these, whatever these things are, these BOGO turtles, there's one of them who jumps down from this ledge, and he'll sometimes throw a boomerang, and whether they throw boomerangs or not, that's all RNG, and I don't really know how to manipulate it, except to say that normally if you start a game and you do, I don't know, the strats that the world record would use, and you don't make any mistakes and you play consistently, he just never shoots a boomerang. You just seem to get lucky. And I don't know why that is, but probably you won't have to worry about that happening unless you're doing something kind of odd. Alright, so let's look at another way of doing this room. Now notice, because I didn't kill any of those things, there was no walker, no ED209 that spawns down here. It doesn't spawn until you kill one of those flies. So what you can actually do if you want to play it safe is just not kill any of them and wait till maybe about here and then jump up and kill these guys. And so this is pretty much a foolproof way of doing it. Just end up down here and you can jump up and slash these guys at your leisure. So this is what I recommend for the safe method. Don't kill any of those and you won't get that robot walker. And you can even do a, alright, if you want to do like a medium height jump right here. Oh, that was a light jump. A medium height jump right there so that your turtle's head hits the ceiling. You can slash your slash your bow staff and kill those last two guys off. And then you just finish off with upward stabs, whichever ones you don't manage to get. And there's a little bit of hesitation with this strat, but the other strat also has a bit of hesitation, so I don't really see it one as being, you know, superior to the other. Okay, now we're going to need to spend some time with this boss here. Oh, first of all, jump straight up. Oh, I got an unlucky boomerang. But you want to make sure... Yeah, killing the flies is pretty significant because of the lag. But again, lag frames aren't going to account for that much time overall. So if you are at all unsure about what to do and not confident, just do it the easy way and don't kill any of them. In fact, you can even just not kill them, you know, upon the next jump either. You can just let them go and they'll despawn themselves if you really wanted to wait. But I don't think that's necessary. I think you can kill them coming up that jump from in between the two conveyors pretty easily. Alright, so let's move on. Moving up here, you want to just jump straight up. Don't try to jump to the left because you'll bump into this guy as you come up the ladder. I mean, after you come off the ladder, if you try to jump left, you'll probably hit that guy like that. So just do like a neutral jump until you get up above that guy's head and then start to move over. And your goal is going to be to land on this box right here, on this ledge right here. It is possible to do this. I don't know. Yeah, you want to land on this ledge right here. And I don't think it's possible to jump from here all the way up to the top of those boxes. You probably are going to have to do 2 more jumps. But that's fine. The world record run does this as well. So I don't know that there's any better way. But anyway, just come up here, neutral jump, and then hold over as soon as you get above that guy's head. You got to do it quick if he's going to be firing boomerangs at you too. And then we'll talk about this boss. So this guy, I'm not sure if it's random or if its movements are based on where you're standing, but sometimes he'll stop and shoot, sometimes he'll charge, and sometimes he'll jump. So he's going to do one of 3 things at any point in time. Pretty much the best method is just to stay on the ground. And if he jumps, you stab upwards to get him. If he stays on the ground, you just stab forwards to get him. If he shoots his gun, you can stab forwards and you can hit both the bullet that he's shooting at you and him, because your staff is long enough to go through, hit his bullet, and then hit him right afterwards. But you're going to have to sort of play this by ear. Oh, that's right. Moahahas makes a good point. For safety purposes, just in case you're worried he is going to throw a boomerang, you might even go to the right a little bit. And then you can actually... Here. You jump to the right a little bit. And then you're not going to be able to land on this thing anymore. You're going to end up landing over here. But that's fine because it's still only, you know, 1 more jump to get you to there and then 1 more to get you to the top. So it's still the same number of jumps. It's just... it's going to be a little bit slower because, you know, instead of going from here up to here, from here up to here, you're going from here up to there. So it's just a little bit longer, but it is definitely a bit safer. You know, if you come up this ladder and then jump to the right and then to the left to get over that guy, just in case he shoots his boomerangs. But again, with this boss, you want to do that thing where you start attacking a little bit early, just bearing in mind that it's going to take a long time for your bow staff's animation to happen. So I'll usually press B just the moment the previous strike finishes. Just start the next swing of the bow right away. Even if I'm not in a position to hit the guy, I just assume that by the time the bow staff animation actually extends fully, that I'll eventually be in a position where I can. But I'm really just starting the next swing of the bow as soon as the previous one ends. Oops, yeah. And you gotta delay a little bit waiting for this guy to drop down. But if you wait right here, maybe by the edge of this this door, by the inner edge of the left door here, you can hit him the moment he hits the ground. Not a great fight. Anyway, there's going to be a pizza in the next level to refill your turtle. If you're taking the safe route, you have to go a little bit out of your way to get it. But if you're concerned about safety, don't worry about how much damage you took at this boss. If you're planning on picking up that safety pizza, it's going to be a full health refill. But anyway, you can mostly stay on the ground. The only time you'll ever need to jump are basically cases where he advances on you and never jumps. Normally he'll advance a little bit and then jump, like he just did on my screen. But there are some times where he'll just do nothing but advance, and he'll back you all the way up into a corner with April right here, and then you'll have to jump over him. But that's pretty rare that that's going to happen. And just like when you were fighting Bebop, it's a pretty good strat to be able to hit the guy as you're walking away from him. So you start swinging your bow as you're walking away from him, and then you turn around just as your bow staff has reached full extension. You turn around for a moment. And that lets you hit him even when he's advancing on you and you need to walk away from him. Okay, now if you went the route where you take a bunch of damage from the Bebop fight, just take a whole bunch of damage at the very start so that you're at less than half health, then this fight's going to go by a lot quicker because you'll be doing more damage with your bow. I believe overall it'll be one less hit on this fight, either one or two less hits on this fight. Now, stage 2. I don't think there's any way to speed up the cutscene in between levels. It's going to play the victory music, and then it's going to switch to a screen where April says something about whatever you're supposed to do next, blah, blah, blah.
She gives you her support.
Yeah, you have my support. I don't think you can speed that up. I don't think you even need to hit a button to cancel out of it. I think it just goes on its own. You don't need to hit anything. It does not matter if you get to April sooner. That's a great question. You will walk over towards April, and that cutscene thing, or that little fanfare, will end when the music ends, and it doesn't matter where your turtle is. You could be all the way to the right, or all the way to the left. It always cuts out the moment the fanfare is over. And I believe there's enough time in the fanfare that you can walk all the way over from the boxes on the far side. Yeah. But anyway, just be aware that it's going to spit you right out into this level immediately. You don't have to press any buttons. And here you are. Okay, so this is where paths are going to start to diverge based on whether you want to do ledge clipping or not. So you may have seen that there are... Here, let me just give you an example of it. You may have seen in people running this game, there'll be cases where they can jump up to ledges that they shouldn't be able to get to. See, up this ledge right here, can't reach it, right? Too high for me to get to. But if I'm standing in the right place, pop, I'm up there. See, the trick is, it's really just a matter of being lined up in just the right horizontal position, and then you gotta press to the right on the D-pad at just the right time. This trick only works with ledges that are at this height and that are one tile thick. The notorious jump at the end of this platforming section that, you know, I'm sure everyone's been groaning over, you would think that that's a spot you could also ledge clip up, but you can't because that's got like a 2-tile ledge instead of a single tile ledge. This ledge just has a thickness of 1 tile, so that's why it works here. Alright, but basically you have to be standing in the right spot. How do I show this with my mouse cursor? Let me see. Here, let me... Yeah, oh, I can't do it. I was gonna make a little thing, but
I saw the thing for a sec there.
yeah, it's there, but I can't get the screen to. All right, yeah, you know, I'll just show it on this video. Come on now.
Oh, I am capturing my mouse cursor, but I
There
don't
you
know what to do, so...
All right, there's a little white dot. I got it right now. There's a little white dot right there. You see this white dot that's kind of on the top of this crack in the wall. What you want is to cover that with your nose. Put your turtle's nose so that it's over that dot.
Like, just covers?
Just covers.
I keep going 1 pixel past it.
That might work. 1 pixel past it is fine. As long as you can jump... as long as that dot's covered and you can jump without touching the ledge, without bumping the ledge. See, I'm not bumping my head on the ledge. There we go. When I jump. That means I'm in the right spot. If I go too far over, I'm gonna bump on this, so that's not good. And if I'm too far back, then you can still see that white dot in front of my turtle's nose, and that's too far to the left. But as long as your nose is covering it, you're in the right spot. All right. Let's see. So then to make this jump happen, I do a neutral jump. I just press the A button and I hold it in because I want to do a full height jump. And I usually just hold it in the whole time. And then what I'll do is I'll press right when I'm even with the bottom of the ledge that I'm trying to jump up to. So let's put this back up on the screen. I want to press to the right when my turtle is even with this line right here. The very bottom of this ledge. So once my turtle comes up and hits this point right here, I'm going to press right on the D-pad and hold it. And if you do that, you end up on the ledge. Easy peasy. So there you go. You got to find the right spot. That's not enough. See, I'm not covering the dot. Now I'm too far. I can tell, oh no, I'm not too far. I'm in just the right spot. Yeah, my nose is covering the dot, and I can jump without it bumping anything, so that means I'm in the right spot. So now all I got to do is do a neutral jump and press right there as my turtle is even with the bottom part of that ledge.
It seems like a pretty forgiving window.
It is, well, it is, yeah. Oh yeah, for the timing for when to press right on the D-pad, it's a huge window, so you're not going to mess that up. The real tricky part is just coming in this door and then immediately lining yourself up on this dot and then doing the jump before these enemies catch you. So that's really the tricky part. Oop. But if you can do this without taking the time to line it up, you can actually get there ahead of those flies.
Yeah. Oh, and then I ran into a 4th one.
Alright. And I'll show how to do the rest of this now. It'd be easier if I just show you on the video so I can talk and do it in slow-mo while I'm explaining. So first I'll explain the faster strats, and then I'll explain the safer strats. So we walk up to there, position yourself. Here, let me slow this down one more tick. So I do this, I have these flies behind me, and I need to delay just a little bit or else I won't be able to kill both flies. So I actually do a jump to the ceiling. It actually slows me down just briefly, and then I swing my bow staff, and that actually kills both of the enemies behind me. Right as I land here, I shoot up with my bow to kill this guy, and then I shoot forward with my bow to kill these next two as I'm walking off this ledge. And that's how you get through that section right there. And the last thing that I have to kill, there's one more fly up there at the top, and I'm going to need to get rid of him because if I leave him on the screen, he's going to slow down the spawn of the of the mini-boss. So I have to kill him right there, and then these last two guys here. And that clears this screen off for this guy to appear. So at this point, the screen needs to be clear as early as possible on this screen right there in order to get the chainsaw guy to appear. Because remember, anytime you reach a mini-boss zone and there's still enemies on the screen, you'll just hear the boss music playing, but the boss won't appear until you've cleared off everything. So that's why I had to kill all those flies, and I had to kill those 3 purple, like, foot soldier guys, the shuriken throwers, as I went. So let's look at this one more time. Come in, get yourself into position so your nose covers the dot, do the jump. You'll be ahead of these flies. I actually jump and then slash so that I can kill the flies behind me, because the bow staff's attack range extends behind you. Slash up, slash forward, and then just walk off this. And then jump and slash up to kill this guy. And now right here, right when my turtle is like midway through this red thing in the background, I'm going to start another jump, and this jump is going to be a medium-sized jump. And that's pretty important to do a medium-sized jump here. Because you need to be high enough to kill that guy up, and then kill this guy coming back down. And then one more medium jump to kill this guy. And I had to backtrack just a little bit to avoid getting hit by a shuriken, like Mythical just got hit by the shuriken. Because, yeah, if you're unlucky and he happens to be throwing his shuriken, you know, you're going to have to backtrack. You might get good RNG and he won't throw any shuriken, and then you don't need to slow down. But generally, it's going to be, you know, a slight slowdown there. And so just one more time, let's look at this. We have to kill this purple guy up there, because otherwise he'll walk off the edge and he'll be on the screen when the mini-boss is supposed to appear. We've got to now kill this fly up top, and then this purple guy down there, and this other purple guy, in order to clear the screen. And the boss doesn't appear until all the shurikens are off the screen, so that's the cue for when that guy's going to appear. Because the shurikens count as something that needs to be cleared off before the boss can appear on the screen. Oh yeah, the running ledge clip. Okay, so it's also possible to do this. That's even more fun. It's also possible to do this while moving, but basically you're getting yourself into position as you're jumping, and then you do the trick like without even hitting the ground. Like you just walk right from this door, you just jump right away and then do the ledge clip from there. But I'm really bad at it, so I'm not gonna explain to people how to do a trick that I can't even do myself. But it saves a bit of time. You come in and kill those guys and you get right up on the ledge, but good luck with that. I find it hard enough to get the regular version of the wall clip to work, or the ledge clip to work. Anyway, the cue for that guy to appear is when the final shuriken goes off the screen. Oh, let me show you one more thing. Sometimes I like to kill this guy right here by just wiggling back just a little bit, and I kill that fly at the same time that I kill this purple guy. Instead of trying to kill the fly here on the upswing and then, you know, the other guy in the downswing. Your head needs to be in the gap between the door and the sign. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, if you watch Whitman Price's run, you can see how to do the running ledge clip. Oh man, I can't, there's this thing I want to show and I can't do it right. There we go. Killing that fly at the same time as the other purple guy. Anyway, you should be climbing this ladder after the moment that mini-boss dies, because you know, you want to be all the way up at the top by the time the screen begins to scroll again. Alright, now let me show another alternative way of doing this. Let's say you don't want to try to do the ledge clip. Instead, you can kill that guy, climb up here, and just, you know, do the rest of this the same as the other way, as the other method. So you walk over slash this guy as you walk in. And you can actually, so one thing you'll notice is that you can climb ladders in different positions. Like right now I'm at the right side of the ladder. I can climb the center of the ladder. I can climb the left side of the ladder. I mean, obviously you want to climb the right side of the ladder. If you're going to wait anyway for these guys to pass, be as far to the right as you can. So walk in this door, slash this guy, climb up the right side of the ladder, and wait till these purple guys pass you by. And then proceed and do the rest of this level as you would normally. Ooh, I missed him. Anyway, that guy would take 2 hits if I was at half health or less than half health. But I'm not. Alright, let's move on to the next section. So right here, if you want, you can skip that half pizza. But it's not really that much that far out of your way to get it. This is all really straightforward. You don't need to kill anything along here. You can just sort of walk along. I guess I have to kill that guy right here. And sometimes there's a guy who spawns right here as you're walking off this edge. And you might need to slash up as you're falling down. And I'd like to point out that this right here is another mini-boss, this Mudman who appears down here. So just make sure you've got the screen cleared of enemies by the time he spawns. I'm getting incredible spawns. See, what's actually happening here is we're skipping the chainsaw guy that normally appears up here. I was actually not expecting to get this spawn RNG. So let me show a video of what normally happens when you get to this area. Alright, I have to kill that guy as I'm falling off there. Kill this guy. Now normally there's this chainsaw guy who appears in the upper left. And sometimes you'll normally get him. I don't know. Most of the time when I'm playing, I can get the I get that guy to spawn. So you come in here and you'll get this chainsaw guy up in the top left. And you've got to kill him first, and then you can come down here and kill this guy. But for some reason, I'm seem to be getting it every time when I'm using this particular save state. So for some reason, I'm set up with the right RNG that instead of getting the chainsaw guy, you see, I get up to this point right here, and right there, oh, I don't know how to pause it and still show it's on my screen at once, but you see that there was a guy who appears like one of these ceiling walkers appears. Instead of the chainsaw guy, you'll get a couple of ceiling walkers. And that's actually way better than getting the chainsaw mini-boss, because then you can kill those guys and get the Mudman to appear without having to do any backtracking. I don't really know how to manipulate it to happen. I just seem to have gotten lucky with this save state. But see, I get these two ceiling jumpers, and I kill them, and this guy appears. But normally you're gonna, I don't know, I say normally, but most of the time when I play, I end up with the chainsaw guy. And if that's the case, the strat for killing chainsaw guy is this. Alright, so here we go. We walk in here, slash up to kill that guy. Guy. I just hit him up through the floor and then take that guy out and then proceed up to this ladder. Alright, so now let's talk about...
bad at hitting this guy.
Yeah. Are you getting the chainsaw guy every time, or have you gotten him to despawn? Have you gotten the leg jumper ceiling guys instead?
Nope, I always get the chainsaw guy. Oops.
Yeah. It's something to do with how you handle the enemies on the previous screen, I think. I really wish I knew. The record run gets the chainsaw guy, and like 9 out of 10 times when I was doing attempts of this game, I would get chainsaw guy as well. Alright, so now once you're past this point, now we gotta find the pixel for doing the ledge jumps here. So, I think this would be easier to show if I do it on this screen. Yeah. Alright. If you go up to this black splotch next to the sewer grate, and you look above it, there's a cluster of white pixels right here. And what you want to do is put your nose up against the leftmost pixel. The leftmost white pixel. It's kind of hard to see on my capture card here, but you can see it a little bit. There's like, right in front of Don's face right now, there's like 3 white pixels. And you just want to put your nose up to the last one. Not quite covering it, but just before you cover it. Is that the spot? There it is.
Easy.
Easy. Oops, that was too far. Yeah, actually, no, it's the alright. This is cluster of pixels, and you just want to cover up, you want to put your nose over the rightmost of that cluster of pixels, of white pixels. That's what it is.
Yeah, as soon as you cover the left one, you've gone too far.
Yeah, if you cover the left one, you've gone too far, so it's going to be a little bit before that. So when your nose covers the right one, and then you jump, and then right now, right when you're the bottom of your, or when your guy's jump crosses the bottom of that ledge, you press left, and that's how you get up. So right here.
See if I can get a save state where I don't get hit by every single enemy through here.
Yeah.
That's 1, 2, okay.
So yeah, the nice thing is you don't have to worry too much about health past this point. There's going to be a whole pizza that you can grab if you want to go out of your way a little bit, but I really don't think anyone's going to need that. Okay.
Alright.
Because we only have one more screen to get through before we do the swimming, and the swimming you should only need maybe 3 turtles maximum worth of health. At most 3 turtles of health, at least 2 turtles. But yeah, these ledge clips are not super worth it. Like, honestly, the amount of time it takes, if you're thinking that you're going to mess this up and have to retry it even a single time, then don't bother. It's just faster to go, jump to the right and then up. Only try to do this if you really feel comfortable enough that you can find that window every time. Yeah, see that cluster of 3 pixels right in front of 3 white pixels in front of his face. Just cover up the one on the right, and then go.
I guess what they're suggesting is you try to line yourself up, and then if you're in there, you do it, and if you're not in there, then just jump to the right.
Then just jump to the right. Yeah. Oh yeah, so try to line yourself up first, and if you didn't get the spot the first time, just say screw it and jump up the other way. Another thing you can do is if you were too far to the right, you'll try to make it, and I don't know, see if you can reproduce this, but if you're too far to the right and you jump and hold into the ledge, you'll see your turtle move over just a little bit while he's bumping up against that ledge, and then that'll actually line it up so you'll get it guaranteed the second time. You went too far. You need to let go of the D-pad the moment you see your turtle move just a little bit. as you're up against that edge. Otherwise, you'll go too far.
I get you.
I don't know. It's hard to... It's a really subtle thing, but you'll see your turtle, like, nudge over just a tiny bit as you're abutting against that thing. I don't know. If you're not getting it the first attempt, just don't even bother. Just go do it the other way. Alright, so let's move up to this next screen here. So I'd say kill that first Mudman. Oh, I can jump over this guy. I wasn't paying attention. Oh man, I had my spawns change. It's not what I was trying to do. Yeah, I gotta have to load my save. I did something different than usual. It's changing spawn sets on me, that's all. Which means I've been, as I was demonstrating things, I just did something that messed with the spawn counter. Alright. Oh, hey Whitman, how you doing? I'm glad you made it. Anyway, you can kill that Mudman and then just proceed to the right, attacking everything as you go. This is another place where you can do a ledge clip if you want to. But I recommend just climbing the ladder. You'll also see people do this. Jumping over this guy. That's tricky. It's kind of a tight window. There we go. Yeah, it is possible to jump over this guy, but it's got, yeah, kind of a tight window. I don't know if I recommend trying it. And you're going to want to attack as you're jumping so that you can kill that ceiling walker that happens right after him. Okay, if you get... Oh, man, I really wish I could pause it and you guys could see what's on my screen without it jumping to this menu, but... Alright, let's see if I can get that situation again. If you get this guy throwing a projectile at you, you can actually hit stuff behind you. So I can kill that projectile with the back of my bow staff, the part that extends behind Donatello. Anyway, you can just climb that ladder, or you can attempt to clip up this ladder here. The position for that clip is right there, maybe about a little bit less than half covering the ladder. And it's the same as, like, once you're in the right horizontal position, it's the same deal as before. You want to jump, do a neutral jump, and the moment that you cross the bottom of the platform that you're trying to get to, you start holding left on the D-pad. Ooh, I did it at the wrong time. There you go. But anyway, this is a pretty quick ladder to climb, so I wouldn't worry too much about it if you can't get that to work. There's a few spawns that you're always going to get here. There's, I think, 3 enemies that you're always going to run into. So just got to know when they're, you know, where they're about to appear. There tends to be one right here. If you slash forward when you're cross the spot where your feet are on this girder, where this diagonal girder touches the platform, you want to slash once right there to get a guy that would normally spawn there, and then again as you jump up here to get that guy, and then one more time as you're nearing the edge of this blue platform, and about to fall off, that's the third guy that you're going to slash. But they're going to appear right at the edge of the screen, and so you got to know where they are so that you don't run face first into them. But there's 3 enemies once you get up to the top here.
Maybe we can talk about drops that
So
I think are random, because I've got some shurikens now.
3. Those are the spots. Okay, shurikens, there's a kill counter. Every 24 enemies that you kill, the 24th enemy has a probability of dropping something. It'll either be a shuriken, a triple shuriken, or a boomerang. All of them are pretty good. They lag the game out like crazy, so you're probably not going to use them. Also, this is, I think, the earliest that you're likely to get a drop. I think right here in this room, maybe down in the lower part of this room here, I think that's when you finally kill the 24th enemy. So that's when you're likely to get the drop, and so you're only going to have it for the remainder of this screen. So you might use it at the top part of this area to kill some enemies. But in general, it's not going to come into play much in this goal. Alright, so now we're at this terrible jump. I don't know what to say about this. This is a tight jump. There's not really a trick to it, other than, you know, do a light jump, do a tap, the lightest tap that you can do to get the shortest jump. And you gotta get all the way so your foot is almost falling off of it. I mean, you're going to jump at the very last moment, right before you fall off that ledge. And personally, I don't know, I like to just wait a moment, hesitate for a moment, maybe move back just a little bit to line myself up to it. Alright, so kill that guy there, that guy up there, and then the third one is there. Those are the 3 guys you have to kill. Hey, I got a drop. Anyway, it's select to turn off the shuriken. Select turns the shuriken on and off. I kind of don't like them. I just leave them turned off all the time. Alright, but yeah, usually you're doing a jump to get up here, and then this is about where you land from that jump. I wouldn't recommend just continuing on to the left and trying to do the next jump. I usually, at this, you know, at some point I land here, and then I backtrack. Oops. I back up a little bit, and then I turn around and try to do my jump from there. Let me get a save state right before that so I can go through this a couple times. Let's see if there's any advice I can give you to make this easier. Oh, that's too far. Oh yeah, here, before we do this, let me talk about where the pizza is. Instead of going up this ladder, either climbing it or ledge clipping up it, whatever you want to do, instead of doing that, if you go to the right, kill off all the enemies, go to the right, you can get a full-size pizza, and then you have to fight this little mini-boss. And then you can continue on your way. If you want to do it that way. There is a full-size pizza over there. If everything goes wrong, grab it. Why not? Like if, for instance, Donatello got creamed and you needed to switch turtles, and so now you're playing with a different turtle and Donatello is almost dead, this would be the spot to switch back to the guy with no health, fill him up with that big pizza, and then switch to whatever turtle you want to be. So that's the backup pizza in case you didn't want to get any of the other ones, like the half pizza that was earlier in this level. Alright, so right there, crossing that girder, here on this jump, and then once more as I'm falling off that ledge. Alright, so now here I am. And I usually land like about here from my jump. And so what I like to do is I back up. Oops, I backed up too far. I back up a little bit, and then I get kind of like a running start. Not that it helps. There's no like running speed. It's not like Mario where you gain, you know, speed over time or anything like that. This is, as soon as you start moving, you're immediately at your fastest speed. But I just find that it helps to have a little bit of like lead up time to help me time it. And it's like right when the turtle's toe goes off the edge is when you want to do it. So I actually look at the very edge of this ledge and I wait till I see a little bit of toe extending past it. See, right now I'm not quite there. It's hard to do it from a standing position also. See, that time I saw a little bit of toe, and yet I still didn't make it. So it's a really tight jump.
In general, you want to jump further than you think.
Yeah, later than it seems like you should. Later than it seems. And just make sure it's a light tap, because if you do, I don't know, I think if you do a full... Oh no, it doesn't matter. It doesn't need to be a light tap. You can do any size jump, and you'll make it over this. There you go. Yeah, if you're confident you can land in the same spot every time, like, I don't know. I don't recommend doing that way at all. Like, trying to pick a spot from maybe back here, and then jump again the moment you land. I don't know if you'd pick, like, this... The right side of this red region, maybe like right here or something. So you walk up and do a jump, and then another jump. Ugh. Yeah, I definitely don't recommend that you do it that way. If anything, I recommend jumping up onto this ledge early so that you can have a little bit of lead-up time.
So, let's say someone falls. What's the best?
Well, fortunately, a lot of the enemies will already be cleared out, so you won't have quite the same set of enemies to deal with. You might find... Oh, well, it looks like they all respawn, so never mind that. You might find that you're getting a different spawn set this time, the second time around. That might happen as well, but it's not very far to backtrack to get there again. But yeah, you'll probably need to, if you fail this a couple of times and you end up taking a bunch of damage retrying it, you're probably going to need to go get the safety pizza. So all the way over here on the right, grab that full-size pizza all the way over there on the right, and then kill this mini-boss.
I think I just fell 3 times in a row.
Yep, it'll happen. And so once your life runs down, grab that pizza. I'd also like to point out that if you do that and you kill that mini boss and climb up here, you may want to walk a little bit to the right and then to the left, just so you're not all the way up against the edge of the screen, because it makes it really hard to hit this guy and this guy and that guy, the 3 guys that you have to fight along this level here, this upper level. But yeah, just watch his toes. When you see his toes ledge, when his toes come off the edge of the ledge, that's when you do your jump. Just gonna keep doing this until I miss it. Oh, I missed it. There you go. Okay, once you come out here, move to the upper part. All right, I think we're done with that. Any other things that you can think of that I didn't mention, Mythical?
No. I was able to follow it.
Good. Sounds good. Alright, so once you come out here, move up so that you're at the upper railing, because that's where these enemies are going to spawn. You don't want to be stuck at the bottom, because then you have to like turn around and attack upwards to get them. It's not good. And then walk off here. Now you can actually walk off the very left edge. See where I'm lined up right now? You don't need to go in the center of that gap, so if you want to save those frames, turn up at the earliest moment. And now we're in the water. Okay, so the swimming section. Alright, if you look, you've got... Alright, right now I've got 3 turtles that are on full health, which means I should have nothing to worry about. If you can get here with 3 turtles worth of health, no problem. I'd say the minimum that you're going to need is 2 if you plan to just tank all the damage and run through everything. You may find if you only have 2 turtles worth of health, you may find that you need to play it safe in just a couple places to avoid a few hits, but 3 should be plenty. And right now I've got 3 and more than a half, like 3 3/4 almost. So that should be a lot. Anyway, all the turtles behave the same underwater. There's no difference between them. You can switch turtles anytime you want. And everything that damages you does one full box of damage. Whether it's these electric things or whether it's the electric seaweed, it'll do a full box every time. So just bear in mind that you're going to need to switch off when your turtle has one box or less of health remaining. And, you can switch turtles pretty quickly. It takes maybe, 1.5 to 2 seconds to switch between turtles. Yeah, like 1.5 seconds, it seems like. Alright, so let's go through the route, just in general, what you're supposed to do here. Actually, let me explain the swimming mechanics before we get too far into this. Alright, you'll notice that this is the kind of thing where you mash the A button to swim up, and you let go of the A button to swim down. Or you stop mashing the A button to swim down. Holding in the A button does nothing for you. It keeps your turtle in this, like, paddling animation that's happening, but ultimately it's, it doesn't do anything to hold the A button in. So you're either mashing A, or you're just letting go of A and doing nothing with it. Okay, you'll notice that pressing up and down on the D-pad will change the way your sprite looks, but it does nothing whatsoever to the control of your turtle. So don't bother pressing up and down on the D-pad. The only buttons you'll need are left and right and A. Okay, one more thing. You'll see these bombs that you're supposed to disable. There are, I'm not sure how many, but we'll pass by all of them on the way as we do this.
There are 8, says
bombs.
April.
Says now 8 bombs are left. And if you pause it at any point in time, April's going to tell you how many are left. And she'll say hurry up every time. This is on a timer. You look at the bottom, there's, that 117, 116, 115. It's counting down. You will never be up against the timer. Don't worry about it. You'd have to get severely lost for the time to run out on you. So these things you're supposed to disable. There's one thing you need to know about them is that you always want to approach them from the center. You want to be completely centered, like the spot where the wire is connecting the, this this electronic part to the explosives part. You want to be right in the middle in order to get the fastest disarm. And the reason for that, so if you touch this sprite anywhere, boink, your guy like slides right up into it. There's like this little animation as the game centers you vertically to the spot where you're supposed to do the disarming. And look how slowly it moves your turtle when you're doing that. So if I approach this thing and I hit it at the very bottom, 1001 without there, it's like 1.5, almost 2 seconds before it centers me onto the spot and I can start disarming it. So don't hit it from too far down or too far up, or you're going to waste all this animation time. You want to always coast in and hit it right there in the middle, and that'll give you an instant disarm, or it'll bring you into the disarming instantly, rather than having that, any of that travel time. If it's a bomb that you're coming at from below, you still want to swim up till you're even with the side of it and then move into it, as opposed to coming up and touching the bottom part, because you swim up faster than that animation moves you up. So even if you're coming at the bomb from below, don't just touch the bottommost part of it. Come up alongside of it and then move right and go into it. Boom. Alright, and you'll get used to the positioning on that. Now, for the most part, you really can just tank the hits. You just gotta be aware of how much health your turtle has. Here, wait, before I get too far ahead of myself. You see this stuff down here at the bottom, this seaweed, this is the really bad seaweed. The other seaweed is like it's just electric seaweed, it'll zap you, but it's not going to kill you. This seaweed...
It's just electric seaweed.
It's just electric seaweed, right. It's not like dangerous death seaweed, which is what that was at the bottom there. So absolutely don't touch that stringy seaweed that you see at the bottom of some of these levels. At the bottom of some of these screens. Don't touch those. Yeah, so right here. Now, at this point in time, or at this point in the stage, there's 2 ways you can go. This is a branch. You could go up and then to the right, or you could go right and then up. And either way, the paths will join up. So this is really the only non-linear part of the whole stage. You know, do I go up? Do I go right? What you should do is go up first. Get this bomb. And remember to touch this one from the side, not from the bottom, because you swim up faster than the animation will move you up. Then you fall back down and then go right. Alright, down to 1 health, switch turtles. And now when you go up, you can go over and get this bomb, and then continue to the right. Now, I could have gone in a different order, but it would have been way more backtracking. So that's the deal. You go up first, and then come back down, and then go to the right. So let me move on, and I'll show you what this next part looks like. Something to bear in mind is that you've got momentum. You've got vertical momentum. Your side-to-side speed, you accelerate instantly, so you don't have to worry about side-to-side momentum, but up and down, you do have some momentum built up. So it does make a difference to try to, if you're moving around a corner, going from like side to side to up or down, it makes sense to try to do sort of like a Mega Man jump, in that you're trying to give yourself as much vertical momentum as you can by the time you cross the corner. Alright, anyway, you go to the right here, you're going to get this guy in the dead end, and then go up here. This is the zappy seaweed. If you really don't care about how many turtles you use, just swim right through it, don't even try to miss it. I mean, to be honest, even if you're trying to avoid taking damage, you're probably going to end up taking damage anyway. So I would say just budget yourself enough health that you can just swim straight through that part and take damage and not even care. Oh, see, this is an instance right here of what I was talking about, where you actually want to have as much... as I'm moving left here, I want to have as much like downward momentum as I can get, rather than, you know, coming up here and like skimming this corner and then dropping down. I gotta wait for my guy to start building up downward momentum. So you want to approach this maybe like along the middle here, and then let go about there, so that when you cross that ledge, you've already got maximum downward speed. So for this bomb right here, there's no other way to get at this except for touching the bottom at the top, or the bomb at the top, and letting it float you all the way down to the disarm point. You can't do that cool trick where you come at it from the side and hit it right in the middle so that you go immediately into disarming. It's impossible to do it at that bomb. Alright, sometimes I bump my head on this little outcropping right here. As I'm coming around this corner, I might be too high up in the air, and I'll bump right against that before moving forward. So just make sure you don't overdo it as you're coming up here. Don't overmash so you end up bumping that. Anyway, and the timing ends when you see OK appear. That's when you can switch to the next game. Alright, so let's do this whole swimming section one more time. Hit that thing right in the center. All of these electric things are on a global timer. So I believe that once you position yourself, once you get yourself in sync with any of these, you should be able to follow the same pattern that you're used to. So if there's one electric thing that you normally wait for, it doesn't matter where you come in the global timer. If you just wait for that thing to go away, by the time you reach the next one, it'll be in the same place that you expect it to be. Also, I believe that the timer continues to run even while you're changing turtles, so just bear that in mind. Also, another thing that can happen is if I'm taking damage and I switch to a different turtle and I come out of it, I'll take damage again immediately because the hit stun also wears off. You're like, or not hit stun, but your hit invulnerability will wear off while you're in the menu. So don't change turtles while you're on top of something that does damage to you, because then the next turtle is going to take damage, is usually going to take damage as you're coming out of it. As you're coming out of that menu, it'll take damage immediately. Sorry, I reset there because I was taking a bunch of damage willy-nilly. But anyway, if you want to play it safe and you don't care about a few extra seconds, just wait for each of these electric things. There's no need to expend your health going through all of them if you don't mind taking an extra, I don't know, 10 seconds in this swimming section. Oops. And also bear in mind that there are currents, and the currents are also on a global timer. And sometimes you'll see that your turtle's getting pushed around. And you're not moving them. It's just because there's water currents, and there's not really much you can do to manipulate how they appear. But if you get used to them, and if you can get used to the pattern, you can actually use it to your advantage sometimes. This screen here, I think, is worth pointing out. Even if you're trying to do this fast, you don't need to go right through this zapper, because this is going to take you some time to sort of like swim up here and then over to get to this thing. So you can actually, sometimes you'll come up here. This is a spot where if I'm trying to conserve health, I'll come up here and I'll swim all the way up to be, you know, at the vertical spot that I want to be at. While waiting for this electric thing to disappear, and then the moment I see it disappear, then I'll start swimming to the left and I'll get to this thing. And if you've done it correctly, oh, I took damage trying to get out. If you do this, let me see if you can time this perfectly. Oh shoot, I just reloaded the wrong save state. I had a save for that screen specifically, but I think I overwrote it earlier. Alright, let me get to this spot again. Alright, so yeah, I like to wait around here for that thing to disappear, and then if you can get into that bomb and defuse it quick enough, you can actually get past that zapper on the way out, and you pass the next set of zappers right there. So you can actually save yourself a lot of damage if you just wait at this one magic spot right here. You just wait right here for this thing to go, and then the trick is you got to hit this bomb high enough up that you don't waste too much time as the animation is like auto-centering yourself. See right there, you notice my turtle took damage because I didn't quite get out of there fast enough. But you got to react really quickly when you see it go away, and you got to hit that bomb close to the center, and you can get right through that electric thing on the way back, as well as these next ones right here. So that's a spot where if you want to just wait in one place, you can end up saving yourself damage from that electric thing in several cases, and get yourself a few extra health points to work with. Anyway, if you're going to take damage anywhere, take it at that electric seaweed, and because honestly, if you're trying to swim through this little corridor right here in between the electric seaweed, even if you do, I mean, it's unlikely that you're gonna successfully get between this without taking any damage. And most likely you're gonna do something stupid like, you know, over swim and end up like up here, and you gotta wait for your turtle to come back down, and you'll take like 3 or 4 zaps. Honestly, I think the safest thing by far is just to budget yourself maybe 4 hits and just go right through it like that. Take 4 hits and just cut that corner as tight as you can and just zip right through it, and don't try to swim around the electric seaweed. So that's pretty much it for my my tips for this section. The only other thing... Oh, here. Something I should mention is that your turtle, once it touches the ground, it can't move if you're not pressing the A button. So you're not going to be able to, like, slide along things. You're going to have to swim in order to move side to side. If you're touching touching the platform. Oh yeah, from where you're at, Mythical, I recommend going down instead of left and then back. Yeah, and then right here at the end. There you go. And I don't think that you can get zapped by those zappers while you're in the middle of the animation that's like centering yourself onto the bomb. I think that animation you're invincible.
So if you're unsure, just go straight for the bomb.
Yeah, go straight for it. And yeah, with that last two set of zappers, that pair of zappers right there, right before the bomb, you'll only take 1 damage from that at most. So unless there's a current that's going against you, like if there's a current that's blowing in your face, then you might actually take 2 hits from it. So just be aware of that. Like if you're at the final stretch and you only have, you can only take 1 hit left, just make sure that the current isn't flowing against you. Okay. So, any questions about this? If anyone in the chat has any questions, now's a good time to ask. Mythical, you got any other things to add?
I don't think so. I mean, if we were to go... Was there an area where we didn't go over safe strats? I don't think so.
I think we pretty much had safe strats for everything. Oh, I'd say about 113 on the timer is decent. You could do a couple better, but 113 is what I get on an average run, I think. All right, I'm going to run through... I made a couple of videos. I'm just going to run through those videos, and I'll play the fast route and the safe route, and maybe make some comments as we're watching that. But that should sort of summarize what we've talked about, and then we'll call it quits. Alright, so first I'll do the safe route. Okay. Alright, so remember to get far enough over that you don't get run over by that thing there. Leave yourself as Leonardo here. And only kill that first guy and this guy down here. Everything else, just avoid, because you don't want to kill too many enemies, because then the spawns will change to a different monster set. I'm doing the safe strats here, which involve going over to the corner and just jumping up and slashing down at Bebop, instead of staying on the ground and fighting him. But there's all kinds of ways to do that fight. Just try to make sure you take 2 damage or less, so that you can refill it on this pizza right here. Alright, you can just wait right there and despawn those guys instead of trying to kill them. Make sure to stand right there, not all the way up against the edge of the screen, but in precisely that spot, so that you can skip that one guy right by the exit ladder.
And you swing up at the 3rd pipe to get the guy that comes on screen.
Yep, you swing up when your head passes the pipe. Wow, this is going by too quickly. I'm sorry, I'm going to have to back up. Yeah, let's go, and I'm going to slow it down just a little bit. But you wait right there, and when your head passes that pipe right there, you slash up. And now if you were close enough to the edge of the screen, you can get past that mudman without him spawning. Alright, so in here, the safe strat is to not kill any of these. Then do a light jump to land down here, and now you wait until you can jump up and kill all those guys at once. And then another light jump, and you can finish off these guys however you like. Right here, you want to either do a neutral jump straight up, or you want to jump a little bit to the right, and then back to the left, just so you can avoid that guy's boomerang. For this fight, stay on the ground. I would say slash is as early as possible, like the moment your previous slash ends. I'm playing it kind of safe here, but I would just keep slashing the moment your previous slash ends, just because it takes so long for the animation cycle to go through. It doesn't matter where you're standing at the end of that fight, because it's always going to take the same amount of time before the cutscene. Alright, coming in here, the safe strat is to kill this guy, get to the right side of this ladder, and wait for these guys to pass by. Now you kill 2 of those guys, up, forward, and now jump to kill this guy. Now a medium jump and slash down, and another medium jump and slash down. And that guy spawns the moment the shuriken are all off the screen. Here's pizza. That'll refill half of your health. You don't need to jump to get it, you can just walk straight through it. Now you might get a different pattern here, but if you do get the chainsaw guy, I recommend killing him from below like this. And then this is the actual mini-boss, that Mudman. And now I recommend killing this guy rather than trying to jump over him, because he's kind of tricky to jump over, although it is possible. Definitely jump the chainsaw guy, because he takes forever to kill. And if you want to be completely safe, if you need more health, then don't immediately climb the ladder. Come over here and get your free safety pizza. You might actually decide you want to come by and get that pizza after you've failed the jump at the end of this several times. That's when you'll probably be in need of that pizza.
Yeah, that's what I would do.
So that's where it is, in case you need it. Oh wait, let me just go back. I want to just point out there's 3 enemies to kill once you get up here. And they're going to be kind of at the edge of the screen. So right here, once your feet pass this girder, this diagonal girder, shoot. Again on this jump. And then again right here at the edge of this blue platform. Now I recommend backing up so that you can give yourself a little bit of walking space leading up to it. And then you just try to make that jump. Jump at the last possible moment when you see that turtle's toes go off the edge. Here, let me back up a second so we can just see this. So you wait until the turtle's toes right there, see a little bit off the edge, and that's when I press jump. And it doesn't even matter what size jump you do. Any jump should get you across this. Alright, move up to the top of this dam so that you can get both of these guys going sideways. Now we're into the swimming. Get these bombs right in the center, of course, to save a little bit of animation time. That slow-mo music. Alright, swimming up here. Make sure you don't bump that rocky ledge next to the opening, because that's gonna kill your vertical momentum. Coming down here, don't worry about how you're positioned horizontally, because your vertical momentum is automatically killed by a screen transition anyway, so you're not going to have any vertical momentum, so you got plenty of time to move yourself over to be flush with the right-hand wall. I definitely would recommend just taking the damage from that, because it's a pain in the ass to get around that spinner the other way. See right here, that's a spot where you can wait. And then you can actually pass by that zapper both ways without taking damage, and then you'll be in just the right spot to miss these zappers. So you should only take 1 damage right there coming out of the bomb. And then right here, you can try to swim around these things and be all careful, but I say just go for it. And on this safety route, I'm actually switching off of all my turtles when they have 2 boxes left instead of 1, just because I don't want to accidentally do it too late. Because I've got so much health to work with, I'm not really concerned about squeezing every last box of health out of these guys. So I'm actually switching over before I'm down to my last box, just so I don't do something stupid and forget. And then right here, make sure you drop down instead of going back up and around.
I would recommend, in any section that has a lot of seaweed like this, try to switch to a fresh turtle if you can, because it's hard to switch to one mid-screen without taking extra damage.
Right, because if you're switching turtles while you're on top of something that deals damage to you, you're going to lose your invincibility, and you'll take another damage immediately after you switch turtles. So yeah, given that you have a lot of turtles to work with, I would say be pretty liberal about when you switch. And you can always switch back to another turtle. Like if you've, gotten too crazy with turtle switching and now you have a bunch of turtles that have like 3 boxes of health left each, you can always go back and cycle through them again. You're only losing another 1.5 seconds each time you transition. But that's it. Okay. Now let me go through, and I put together a route that's less safe and a little bit faster that shows some slightly different strats, so we can take a look at this. But much of this is going to be the same. And I'm going to do it in kind of slow motion as well. Slowed down a little bit. Here, I'm actually further down than I need to be. I could be a little bit further up. Alright, but this screen's basically the same. Slash that guy, small jump, walk off this ledge and slash down, and then just do a full height jump, and you'll always end up between those guys. It's the same thing in the safe route. Switching to Don, and now the idea here is that I want to take as much damage as I can from this guy, because there should be just enough time to bring myself a little bit below half health. So now Donatello's doing extra damage. You can use the rest of the strats in this video even if you're not planning on taking that the low health damage boost, or the low health damage gain, whatever you want to call it. But in this version I'm skipping that pizza, and I also kill those guys by jumping off that ledge rather than despawning them. And notice that fight only took 2 hits instead of 3 because I was low on health. Yeah, let me just back up, and I want to see this one more time. So hit that guy on the way up, and then again on the way back down. And here I jump at the very edge of that ledge and kill 2 of them, and then the last guy I kill by shooting up. And now for this boss, he'll take 2 hits instead of 3. Because you have the health boost, the low health boost. And this is where you want to stand, right even with this, this crack. There's like a crack down in the floor, 1 block below where Donatello's feet are. That's what you use to line yourself up. And you want to slash right when your face crosses the next pipe. You want to slash up. So right there, you slash up to kill that guy. And now you'll pass this last guy because you're close to the edge of the screen. And then the fast strat is to jump immediately as you come through this door and kill those 3 guys on the right. Stay really far to the left so that guy doesn't shoot you, and then slash up and then down to kill that last set of guys. So right here, you can play it safe by jumping to the right and then back to the left to avoid his potential boomerang. But you don't need to. And then this fight, mostly just stay on the ground. You can kill his bullets. You can slash up when he jumps. It's pretty rare that you'll actually need to jump during this fight. The only case you'll need to jump is if he decides he wants to advance and he doesn't want to jump, so there's no chance for you to pass underneath him. Okay, damn time. So now we walk up, and let me just show you once again this little white dot right there. That little white speck, you want to put the turtle's nose so that it's covering it. The turtle's nose covers that speck. And then you jump and you press up, or you jump and you press to the right. It's a neutral jump, and you press to the right when your turtle passes this line right here. You press to the right on the D-pad. You do a little jump to kill those guys, slash up, slash forward, and then slash up again for him, and then you can get this guy and then him, with medium jumps.
And you might need to juke out a shuriken there.
Yeah, you might need to slow down for a moment to avoid a shuriken hitting you, depending on what his RNG has him doing. Now, in this version, I got kind of unlucky with the spawns, so I did end up with the chainsaw guy. Alright, and then you can do that glitch right there, that ledge clipping glitch, and let's just revisit what the visual cue is. You'll see that there are dots, this cluster of 3 dots right here. There's 3 white dots. See, 1, 2, 3. You want the turtle's nose to cover up this dot on the right. And that's how you know you've gone far enough. So right there, the turtle's nose is covering that rightmost dot. And now you jump, and the moment that you hit, like right there, when your turtle's even with the bottom of that ledge, you start holding left and continue holding A the whole time. So I'm holding left and A now. And boom, I'm up there on that ledge. Okay, right here, you can jump like super early and get over that guy. It's really tricky. There's kind of a tight window that you can jump and get over him. Jump the chainsaw guy because he takes a lot of hits. You can kill this projectile with the back side of your bow. And you can actually do a ladder clip to get up there. Now let me just look at the positioning for this ladder clip. You just want to get so that your nose is covering maybe like 40% of that ladder rung. Just a little bit less than half of the ladder rung is being covered with your nose. And then you jump and then hold left at the moment your turtle crosses this line right here. Slash there, again, and one more time right there. And meow. Alright, and move up here to the top and you can get these guys. And then the rest of this is pretty much the same. I'll go back to full speed. This part, there's not really a, expert or a safe way. The safe way is to just wait for all of these, zappers instead of just plowing through them. And that's up to your discretion how much health you want to spend and how much you want to just take, how much damage you want to take just running through those things. Okay, Wahaha's points out another alternative lineup for that. You can use his knee. Just wait till your knee covers the shadow next to the left vertical bar.
So you came in here with 3.5 turtles
Yep.
of health, and you've not slowed down really for anything.
Nope. And I've got still... This is my last turtle, I think, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think I did Leo last. Yeah, and I got through with him having 5 out of 8 bars.
I guess that's not... I mean, that's 5 mistakes, and you're dead, so...
Yep.
It's not that much leeway, so if you really want to go all out, you should practice this stage a little bit.
Yeah, I would say that you only really need 2 turtles to get through it. 2 turtles of health. Because there's really the only spots where you really are probably going to take damage are the electric seaweed and that spinning thing. That spinner is really hard to get through without taking damage, even if you're trying to go around the proper way. But you can wait for all of the electric beams that are on a timer.
Yeah, I guess, I mean, you can, if you screw up, you can then just start waiting for the beams.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it'll be sort of up to you. You look at, based on how much health you have coming in, you make a decision for how many of them you're going to wait for. But that one spot that I showed is a nice way to save yourself several hits. It's like one spot, or move over to it. It's one spot you can wait.
I think it saves 4 hits.
Yeah, I think it saves 4 hits if you do it right. So like right here, waiting for this guy to go. And the trick is, you got to move immediately as soon as you see that thing disappear. And the trick is you got to hit this relatively high up, almost to the point where you're getting hit by that seaweed that's hanging from the ceiling. Because if you hit that bomb too low, you're going to waste so much time in that centering animation that